Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess is Capcom's most recent title. It stands as a unique blend of tower defense, strategy, and action, carrying similar aesthetics of another cult classic of Capcom's, Okami. While drawing on traditional Japanese aesthetics, demons, and mythologies, Kunitsu-Gami is an experience that you will either love or hate, since it also channels a nostalgic retro PlayStation 2 era vibe, when games often featured bold artistic choices and experimental gameplay mechanics. The use of vibrant colors, stylized character designs, and a mix of experimental gameplay design is what Kunitsu-Gami will present you. I'm Arcadenaut here, and today we'll delve into one of the most unique titles of recent years. Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess weaves a narrative deeply rooted in Japanese mythology and folklore that would definitely remind you of other Capcom titles like Okami and Onimusha for sure. The game follows the journey of So, a guardian tasked with protecting the shrine maiden Yoshiro as she purifies the land from the corruption of the seed. Kunitsu-Gami's story is primarily conveyed through visual storytelling and without any dialogues. The relationship between So and Yoshiro is portrayed as So being the silent protector, while Yoshiro, the shrine maiden, embodying the purity and grace. Their interactions are primarily conveyed through their actions and the visual design, and also through their journey. Although the background design may seem flawed during some of the levels, the demons, the yokais of Kunitsu-Gami, are beautifully crafted, reflecting the Japanese folklore, whereas the purification rituals performed by Yoshiro are inspired by traditional Shinto practices, adding authenticity and depth to the game's mythological setting. As Kunitsu-Gami's lore is revealed through environmental storytelling and visual cues, the environments are dynamic and change based on the progression of the story. From rice fields to poisonous swamps, from caverns to snowy mountains, Kunitsu-Gami may seem like a repetitive experience, but it's actually not. First, let's start off with its gameplay design. Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess introduces a hybrid gameplay style that merges elements of tower defense and action. You, as the guardian of a shrine maiden, must defend against waves of different yokais, onis, and other mythological Japanese creatures, forming defensive structures, ordering the villages you free from corruption by assigning them a role, which would turn them into an archer, sometimes a sumo wrestler, a thief, or even a cannoneer. During the day, you go around the map, cleansing the corruption and freeing the villages from defilement cocoons to add them to your defense force. Create a path so that Shrine Maiden Yoshiro can dance her way to the Torii Gate, while of course cleansing the land. Using daytime efficiently is one of the critical elements, so that means wandering around and cleansing the map as soon as possible. Gathering all the available villages are quite essential. With each new level you unlock, you get access to barriers, amplifying tools, sometimes traps, or even broken bridges that you need to fix during the daytime. Meaning that daytime is mainly about the time and resource management, and of course preparing for the yokai invasion when the sun goes down. When the night falls, your dear shrine maiden stops her progress. Different Torii gates glow with corruption, and demon hordes emerge. The Guardian Soul can also fight alongside the villagers. Still, there is no way the players can defend the Shrine Maiden without any help from the villages. That's where this tower defense strategy element comes into play. The combat in Kunitsu-Gami is fluid and dynamic. However, it can also feel shallow during the first half of the game, until the players access the Soul skill tree, unlocking more customization choices, parry or critical hit mechanic with the Musubi resource that you can earn by doing specific objectives or repairing the bases you free from the corruption. Combat's fluidity lies within combining light and heavy attacks, dodges, and special abilities. With each level, each upgrade you unlock, it gets better, deeper, and more challenging. Even though fundamentally it's basically a mix of combos between light and heavy attacks, Mastering these moves and taking out multiple yokais with a single attack, this approach is crucial for surviving waves of enemies and strategically managing combat scenarios. However, Capcom created this combat mechanic in a really unique way. It is built around the concept of sword dancing, where Souls attacks flow together with a rhythm, creating a seamless, visual and gameplay-wise satisfying combat experience. Each move, whether a sweeping attack for groups of enemies or a targeted strike for a single opponent, is designed to be executed with a precision and grace. This is just one of the aspects of Kunitsu-Gami's elegance. Not just so, but the Shrine Maiden Yoshiro, even your fellow villagers, they all dance as they cleanse the corruption, creating a charming, unique visual and experience. On the other hand, managing your valuable resources is another fundamental aspect, whether it be the crystals you gather by cleansing the corruption or defeating the yokais, or the Musubi resource you use to upgrade different villager roles or Souls abilities. Villager role upgrades are pretty linear, basically chain upgrades in which you increase their health and damage, while unlocking a handful of passive attributes or maybe increasing their range if the role is something like Archer, Rifleman or Cannoneer. By clearing each boss fight you encounter, you get to unlock different villager roles, starting with Woodsman, which is our fast but weakest melee class, Archer, which is again fast but weak range DPS, Sumo Wrestler, that attracts the yokai while shaking the earth and dealing AoE damage, or Priest to heal your units or to cancel the buffs of the yokais. Keeping the balance between the villager roles and Souls attributes could be the best approach. My advice would be to focus on Archer first, the Sumo Wrestler to protect the Shrine Maiden while Souls away fighting against the hordes. During the mid-late game, focusing on Rifleman and Spearman would help you to reach endgame levels quite easily, but again, you may also focus on ascetic casters that slow down the demons, providing strategic control over the battlefield. Their barriers are particularly useful for managing large groups of enemies and protecting vulnerable areas of your defense, giving your other units enough time to focus on different threats. Sooner or later, each villager role will play their part. That is one of the parts that I really enjoyed. The level or the progress design of Kunitsu-Gami is not like a ladder. It doesn't start as easy, increasing its difficulty with each step you complete, but rather the challenge varies depending on which units you upgraded or your approach to the strategy. Some of the bosses, like this gigantic yokai centipede Mukadejoro, could be one of the toughest encounters of Kunitsu-Gami. If you focus more on the archers and sumo wrestlers, another boss fight can become more accessible than it actually is. To be honest, I really appreciate this approach. It makes the challenge and the level design rather unpredictable as you progress further, since Kunitsu-Gami also features a wide variety of enemies, each with unique behaviors and attack patterns. You will encounter different types of yokai, requiring you to adapt to their strategies or the conditions of your area. And believe it or not, Kunitsu-Gami's enemies are designed with AI that coordinates their attacks, trying to exploit weaknesses in the player's defenses. There is this sense of thrill as if things would go really bad really quick if you do not pay attention to Tori gates that activate by each night or the tools that you should prepare within each day. It requires you to stay alert, manage your resources, or change some of your village's roles to adapt to that difficulty. The boss battles require you to try different strategies rather than just blindly attacking the boss or defending the Shrine Maiden, since each boss fight has a limit of time needed as their bonus objective to unlock either a new special move or a passive attribute. You will find yourself going back to the previous levels or boss fights to complete the bonus objectives that you have previously missed or had difficulties with. Kunitsu-Gami, with its rewarding challenges, also adds a meaning to the replayability after all. It's not mandatory to complete every bonus objective of a level, but somehow you will find yourself tackling those challenges again with improved villager roles and stronger so. And if you rush the main story content to see the end of the story, you will still manage to clear the game. You may have some difficulties during battles, but it shouldn't be a problem overall. Kunitsu-Gami takes around 15 to 20 hours to complete the main progress, and it's definitely one of the most unique titles of recent years. Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess felt like a forgotten, hidden gem PlayStation 2 title, full of nostalgic vibe of an era, brimming with experimental art and gameplay design. Calling this experience just as a tower defense would be unfair. It is actually more than that. Hack and slash combat with resource-based strategy is the core of this experience, while its nostalgic vibe is further enhanced by the artistic choices. The integration of traditional Japanese aesthetics with challenging boss fights add a different kind of a layer of replayability, especially if you are just looking forward to upgrade each village role like I did. Basically, the strategic depth combined with the variety of villager roles and enemy types ensures that each playthrough can offer a different experience, and Kunitsu-Gami allows you to undo your customization choices and try out new setups whenever you wish to, without spending or losing anything. As this variety keeps the gameplay fresh and engaging, it also encourages players to experiment with different strategies and approaches. The combination of these elements ensures that players have plenty of content to explore and master. Still, I'm sure of it, Kunitsu-Gami is not for everybody, it won't appeal everyone and possibly would turn out as a hidden gem after all. However, as I said, if you're into Capcom's previous titles like Okami or Onimusha, or if you are looking for a title that would hit your nostalgia chord, whether you are drawn to its mythological narrative, strategy gameplay or beautiful art design, Kunitsu-Gami offers a compelling journey worth undertaking. As always, thank you for watching today's video. Any humble support through Patreon and YouTube join is really appreciated, and I will see you soon in my next video.